one answer, just one word, yes or no, could decide your entire future. What's changing, and it could affect millions of people. The US visa interview. Not about your bank balance, not your bank statements, not about your degrees, your university. Patterns like same type of fear stories, repeated identical claims from groups, people disappearing after entry and working illegally. Do you fear going back to your home country? If you say yes, your visa could be denied. If you say no, but later apply for asylum, that answer could come back to haunt you.
2 specific questions regarding your safety and fear of returning to your home country. Answering yes to either of these questions will likely result in a visa denial. What are the 2 questions? Have you experienced harm or mistreatment in your country of nationality or last habitual residence? Do you fear harm or mistreatment in returning to your country of nationality or permanent residence?
Hello everyone, something new came up today and I'm sharing it with you. Imagine you are there for a US visa interview. Everything is going fine, all documents perfect, everything ready. And then the officer asks you a very simple question. Do you fear going back to your home country? Think carefully. If you say yes, your visa could be rejected immediately. If you say no, even when it's not true, you could be accused of lying.
What will be the impact on your visa? Near certain denial. If you answer yes or refuse to answer these questions, you will face a near certain denial. It's a part of new screening measure designed to filter out potential asylum seekers before they reach the US and to prevent the misuse of non-immigrant visas. Expressing a fear of return can raise doubts about your intent to remain in the US temporarily, leading officers to suspect immigrant intent.
This is not a hypothetical situation. This is an actual new rule from the US State Department. According to the recent report, visa officers are now required to ask applicants 2 direct questions. Have you faced harm in your country? Do you fear going back? If your answer is not a clear no to both, your visa may not even move forward. What the US government says is, a visa is a privilege, not a right, and we need to stop misuse. They believe many people come on tourist visas or student visas and then later they apply for asylum. So this rule is basically trying to stop that at the entry gate itself.
While a no is required for approval, providing false information can lead to serious consequences, including a permanent bar from the US. This affects all temporary visa categories, including tourists, students, and tech workers.
But critics are saying something completely different. They are saying this could block genuine refugees before they even reach safety. Earlier, someone could enter legally and then apply for asylum if needed. Now, they may never get that chance. What would you do? Would you tell the truth and risk the rejection? Or would you hide the truth, risk being banned for fraud later? Because yes, giving a false answer could be treated as misrepresentation, and it is misrepresentation. It can also give you a lifetime ban. So now the visa interview is not just about documents anymore. Who gets the chance to enter, who gets the chance to be heard, and who gets stopped, even before stepping in. There has been misuse even in this category. A lot of misuse. Not everyone, but enough to shake up the system. In recent years, both US and Canada have seen a spike in questionable asylum claims. People are entering on tourist visas, on student visas, and then suddenly claiming, I can't go back, I'm unsafe in my own country. Now again, it's very important to say many claims are genuine. Many people really do need protection. But there have been many cases where stories were coached, they were exaggerated, or they were just completely false. Even officials have pointed out patterns like same type of fear stories, repeated identical claims from groups, people disappearing after entry and working illegally, and in some cases, there is an entire network that's helping people game asylum system. That's exactly why this new rule is coming in. The idea is very simple. If you already fear going back, why are you applying for a temporary visa instead of asylum directly? From the government's perspective, this is about stopping misuse early to reduce the fake asylum pipelines, protecting the system for people who actually need it. And honestly, a lot of people, even immigrants, are saying that this was very much needed, because when misuse increases, it doesn't just affect the system, it affects everyone's image. We've already seen how scam and fraud cases have triggered stricter visa rules, more rejections also, and of course more suspicion, especially towards communities that apply the most. Even if the intention is right, the execution can still hurt genuine people. Someone who's truly scared might now hesitate to tell the truth. So we are stuck in between two realities: a system that was being misused, a fix that might block real victims too, and that's why this conversation is so divided. Some people say, finally, we have some control. Others say, what about humanity? And maybe the real answer lies somewhere in between. In Canada, what shocked the government was it was a pattern. In 1 year alone, over 20,000 international students filed asylum claims. Think about that. Students who come to study. They show all their plans, where they'll be studying, what courses are they doing, what are their plans. They'll go back after their study is completed. The government designed a system for education, for legal pathways, for skilled immigration. And then suddenly, people just start switching lanes midway. And this wasn't just random. There were patterns, there were networks. Canadian authorities themselves admitted they are dealing with coordinated fraud schemes in immigration. Some students, after struggling with high tuition, expensive living, PR uncertainty, no guarantee of permanent residence, they started seeing asylum as a last option to stay. What was the impact? A massive backlog, slower processing, more suspicion on genuine applicants, and more importantly, loss of trust. That's when government said enough. Enough is enough, because in every category there is some sort of scam, some sort of fraud, and then came the crackdown. Suddenly numbers started dropping. 34% fewer asylum claims in 2025, up to 50% drop from visa holders in early 2026, even more than 70% drop in some categories, which clearly shows one thing: stricter screening definitely works. And that brings us back to the US rule. The one question: do you fear going back? Now suddenly it makes sense, right? It's not just random, it's learning from what has already happened. Because from the government's perspective, if someone already fears returning, why are they applying for a temporary visa, saying they want to enter as a student or a visitor instead of asylum? And this is why many people, even immigrants, are saying this step is actually needed. If the system is misused, rules become stricter for everyone. And then genuine people suffer the most. We've already seen it: tougher visa interviews, higher rejection rates, more scrutiny for certain communities, and this is not just a policy anymore. This is about reputation. One person is misusing the system and it's affecting thousands who are doing everything right. This rule will definitely clean the system, but it will also create a moral dilemma. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, and please share it. Please share the video. That's how you can support our channel. Keep watching Pardesi Pulse.